So in this segment, Boris Johnson saying he was too optimistic about his oven-ready Brexit deal. So it's going to be a fairly short one. Johnson admitted he was too optimistic. The Prime Minister won the 2019 election campaigning on his Northern Ireland Protocol and the withdrawal agreement, of course, saying it would get Brexit done. But the goods crossing the Irish Sea, the checks have created turmoil. I don't think it's necessarily the checks themselves, it's just the DUP being insane, really, because lots of countries have internal borders. Speaking to reporters on a trip to Rwanda, the Prime Minister said, "This is something that I didn't want to do. I wanted the protocol to work after all, after agreeing the thing. Saying after I agreed the thing, when I read it, I looked at it with the eyes of optimism, and I'm sure many people looked at his premiership with the eyes of optimism and realised they were overly optimistic. And I thought there was enough stuff in it. If you read it carefully, there's enough language in it about East-West trade and UK internal market. I mean, there isn't though. Can you cite the specific bits you're talking about? No. Why is that? To make you think the EU could make it operate in a way that wasn't burdensome to businesses. I mean, at the end of the day, the UK isn't giving the data like it's meant to, and that's one of the things that would really help reduce the amount of checks needed on certain products. But the UK isn't giving the EU access to the data. This isn't how it's been operated. It's caused Stormont to collapse. It's not caused Stormont to collapse. The DUP in their kind of obsession with the union without wanting to accept the entirety of the union's rules has caused it to collapse. But the Prime Minister dismissed the EU's plans for legal action, saying there are lots of legal cases against the UK, and I don't think that's something you should celebrate. Saying there are lots of cases against us, I would not be celebrating that right now, saying, oh, it's a minor thing, there are lots of legal cases against us. Just not the line I would use. He blasted Šefčovič, and he blasted the EU negotiator Šefčovič's suggestion that the bill was politically driven, even though we know that it is. He said the reaction around the table amongst our friends has been more muted than I think people were expecting. I think that's because the EU are anticipating that this bill will take a lot longer to pass through Parliament, and therefore they don't need to make anything public yet. I disagree with them. I think they should, whatever they're planning, I would make it public. I'd say, you do this, why will happen. That's what they should be doing right now, but I'm not in the room talking to them. Naomi Smith, Chief Executive of Internationalist Campaign Group Best for Britain, said the Prime Minister claims he wanted the protocol to work, but in reality he never put in place the necessary infrastructure to make that happen, which is very true. They didn't hire enough staff, the infrastructure wasn't there, nothing was made prepared for the border checks. Instead, he chose to create unnecessary uncertainty and instability through continued threats of legal action. Again, absolutely true, 100%. I agree with her here. Šefčovič saying that the decisions made by the UK government look political regarding the protocol, and let's be honest here. We've all made oven-ready meals that we were overly optimistic about, whether that's the time it should take in the oven, the temperature, and the outcome of how good the food would be. So I kind of get what Johnson's saying here about the oven-ready meal, but this is just more ridiculous stuff from a guy who, will happily lie today to get through today and not care about tomorrow. He doesn't care about the long term. He's very much here for a good time, not a long time kind of guy. And, I can't respect that, because at the end of the day, there are consequences for the country. If you want to do that in your marriages, that's fine, here for a good time, not a long time. But doing that to the country, I mean, that's just ridiculous. But who's surprised that he over-egged how good his Brexit ready deal would be? He's the one that said there would be no checks in the Irish Sea, send the paperwork to him, etc. He's just full of lies here. But look, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.